I remember stepping off that bus into dust that, I know it didn't go up to the ankles, but it just felt like it. And thinking, if I dropped dead right now here, nobody would care. And at 15, that's kind of a depressing thought. We were in Block 17, Building 11, Apartment C. I have my mother and father and the four of us girls. We were a family of all girls in that room. And so we had no need for blankets at that time in Arizona, so we hung the blankets up as walls. And I remember the mattress, of course, was just ticking, empty ticking, and we filled it with straw. And so we did away with those, and we would wet down the cot. It was canvas cots that we slept in. We would take them outside and wet them down and bring in to sleep on because it was so hot. It helped a little bit. And then eventually we were able to devise a cooling system. Somebody figured out if you put the straw between some netting or material and put a fan at one side and blew air through it, you'd get cooler air.
Not too many people, the youngsters that went to school, went to trade school. So first they asked me what I did. I want to be an engineer, so I would go and sign up to be a junior engineer. I never got there. For to do this, shipped me out to the job site, and I've been on the job site outside ever since. And I did many jobs in the camp, different type of jobs, and it was a very learning experience as far as I was concerned. He calls me in one day and says, Jim said, we're going to build a jail. Jail for who? Well, people in your camp. In the meantime, I have to build a jail. Well, if you don't do it, I'll get somebody else to do it. Someone in charge of total construction. So he finally talked me into it. Okay. Now to find somebody to do it for me. I had all these different crews, and they laughed at me. He says, "Bakatare, you know, you're crazy, you know, you want us to build a jail for our own people?" I said, well, Best wants it that way, so we're gonna do it. I said, well, I don't know. So finally I got two brothers, two different crews, get together to build a jail for me.
In Two Lake, all the laundry sinks were on the perimeter of the building. And so when it was my turn to do the laundry, I would get white things soaking in cold water. Then I get my hot water going, hot water, lukewarm, and this. And so I had 3 rinse. In those days, we didn't have soap, but the camp made soap out of the pig's fat. And it was like false naphtha. Remember the ugly brown? Yeah, well, that's the kind of soap. It was really good laundry soap. Not good for your body, but good for laundry. People in the block knew that, okay, there goes the Tanaka girl. She's going to do the laundry today. And then wintertime, my sheets would get stiff as a board. It was so cold because we had to hang it outside. Then I'd bring it in and I'd have laundry all over the barrack room, you know, because we only had one room. And I had hanging all over the place. But it dried because we had that black pot belly stove. Yeah.
We all had to work, and I was the secretary. It was like being a prisoner. Although you were free to do anything inside the camp. Some of my friends, they played baseball. You know, some of my friends worked in, they had a hospital, they were nurses, but I was just a secretary at a canteen, you know. like a small store. Food at camp was okay. Yeah, the cooks were very good. Yeah, they had American food because that's what they got. They got, you know, like hamburgers and meat and steak and the usual thing that you get. I was about 19 years old. They had a lot of dances, and we went to the dances, and that was an ideal place for, you know, fellas to meet girls, huh?
And I went to work in a nursery school because a friend of mine said there was an opening. And then after I worked there for a while, they expanded and they made me co-director of one of the nursery schools with a friend that I had gone to UC Berkeley with. And so the two of us ran that. And there was no privacy because all the kids would follow us home. And we would be eating in the mess halls and they would come and eat with us. And it was nice though that they liked us.
When we arrived, of course, there were no school buildings, so they would find empty barrack rooms and use those for classrooms. And of course, in high school, you're taking several different courses. So I remember having my core class in Block 2, which is in one corner of the camp. My physics class was in Block, was it 19, which was like midway through. My algebra class was all the way in the other corner in Block 35. My algebra class was scheduled for 2:30 in the afternoon. So when it was really hot, we had class at 7:30 in the morning before breakfast. Eventually, they would have parties in the mess hall. And so there would be parties and there was not too much in the way of food, but people managed to scrape together stuff and we'd have a fun time. Then eventually there was an empty quad in the middle of the camp where they put up a great big structure. It was open air, but they could show movies, and so they would show films. And there was a stage there too, so then enough of the people would then begin to organize talent shows and put on little scripts and things for entertainment. There was a canteen near the quad so that we could buy essentials, toothpaste and things, and eventually they were selling quite a bit of stuff. But our main supply of needed items came from catalog purchases. So Sears Roebuck, Montgomery Ward, and Spiegel's, I think, were our main sources of things.
We all looked alike because we ordered through Sears Roebuck. And eventually everybody was wearing the same things. But clothes didn't matter that much to me at that time. And we existed. We were busy because it took us to get a meal. We had to stand in line for a long, long time. Everything was in lines. We stayed in lines for this and we stayed in lines for that. And we kept trying to keep the dust out of our house, and that just about took all of our energies. Social life consisted of playing cards or going to, we had weekly dances, I think. We went to dances, and that was about it.
I was 15 years of age. For me, It was sort of a relief from the family chores, not having to cook and shop for the family. I was too young to realize the tremendous loss and anxiety endured by my parents. All during camp, I tried to find some kind of employment to have money to spend to buy clothes from the Sears or Montgomery Ward's catalogs. Although I was only 14, I used a relative's name one summer to work as a waitress in the mess hall to earn $16 per month. This was in Tule Lake. When I went to Heart Mountain Camp, I found a summer job which paid $14 a month for about 2 months as a clerk for the mess division. This was my first office job. When school started, I went to class half a day and worked as a receptionist for the adult education supervisor for about $8 a month. In Heart Mountain, my father started allowing me to go to dances, which improved my social life. My father worked as an assistant cook in the mess hall. He grew plants in containers as well as crafting small furniture and did other woodworks. I still have the cane he made, and my daughter has the small jewelry case he crafted. My mother did waitress work in the mess hall and went to class to learn drafting patterns for clothes. And she sewed my pleated skirts and my graduation dress, which we designed together.
We first arrived in camp. Everything was in disorder. You know, there were no activities for the younger kids. There was no school for a while until they start using one of the barracks as a schoolroom. And so a group of parents from San Jose area looked me up to ask me to whether I'd be interested in being a scout leader for some of the boys in San Jose. It was a San Jose group. I received my Eagle badge in San Francisco when I was in the Scouts, and I guess that's how they tracked me down. But anyway, I thought about it for a couple of weeks, and I said, well, yeah, I'll take the job.